My name's Erica Barnett and I'm the Chief Executive of BITA Pathways, a mental health charity that specialises in delivering training and employment opportunities to adults with mental health problems. Several years ago, we were lucky to win a grant from the Big Lottery Fund to deliver something which wasn't part of our core service at the time, but it was a health and wellbeing project, and it was all around having linked poor physical health with poor mental health, and all the evidence showing that people who have poor mental health also have poor physical health. So we were trying to improve both through a combination of physical outdoor exercise and diet and nutrition. And the project was called BITA Pathways, and it was made up of 3 components. So there was outdoor exercise on our 2 allotments, producing vegetables which were then turned into pickles and chutneys, which we sold on farmers markets. The second component was walking groups, walking for health, walking for diet, walking for nutrition, and we had walking for women. That's right, women's walking group as well. And the third component was the healthy eating side of it, and we needed to find somebody who would deliver some nutritional workshops in a positive, empowering way that would meet the needs of the people who were going to be engaging with us. And Change Kitchen was introduced to us, I believe, if I recollect, by ISE, the Initiative for Social Entrepreneurs, who we'd worked with over many years, and we met Birgit, and she made the proposal and delivered the workshops in our training centre in this site in Digbeth. And we had them 3 times. We had a series of 6 sessions 3 times a year over the course of a year. They were introduced to us by ISE, who are a valued partner who I trust, and so any recommendation of theirs was one that I knew I could trust. Obviously, Change Kitchen was another social enterprise, and we were in the early stages of developing our social enterprises. So, we wanted to work together. And then finally, because when we met Birgit, she was very convincing, very enthusiastic, and very competent in terms of what she was proposing to deliver and the manner in which she said she would deliver it. So that was the main reason why we decided to use Change Kitchen. I haven't got the report in front of me that we had to submit to the Big Lottery Fund at the end of the 3-year project. We had an evaluation done, but they were all positive outcomes, and there was a correlation between those participants who'd been on those workshops and the way that they responded to further activities. So, for example, the project worker went on to run several taster days where she would make soup and other simple dishes, and then have tasting sessions in the whole building. And the people who participated in the workshops were the ones who were the most enthusiastic about tasting that and encouraging other people to taste. So they had a more positive attitude to trying out new food and a more positive attitude to healthy food. I know that there were other positive outcomes in relation to the individual's health, but it was based on individual surveys and questionnaires and focus groups that the project worker did. But I know there were some positive outcomes in relation to how people felt about their mental health, and how the combination of the workshops and the other activities, the walking and the exercise and the gardening, how the combination of all those different activities helped them feel better mentally, but also in terms of weight, you know, we weighed people at the start of their engagement with the activity, and then at the end, and I think for most of the participants there was a successful outcome in terms of weight loss. I believe recently, as we've been developing our social enterprises and we've been working with Change Kitchen in an ongoing way, we did have a series of meetings earlier this year, I think it was, or last year, when Change Kitchen began to offer work experience placements. And obviously part of the overall service that we provide around the delivery of education, volunteering and employment opportunities is work experience placements. And so I believe that our employment coaches did find a number of individuals who wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. I couldn't tell you how those individuals got on, but I do know that we did work together around that. It's a very positive relationship, always has been. You know, we share the same values and vision in relation to what we want to achieve and how we work. You know, we know that Birgit and all the staff have got integrity, and we trust them to deliver what they say they're going to deliver. And we've always enjoyed working with them, apart from the fact that we enjoy eating the food. Well, indeed, yes. Our vision, our mission is to deliver services that help people with mental health problems progress on a pathway towards employment through education and volunteering and work. And so that's obviously a huge area where we share a vision with Change Kitchen. We commissioned Change Kitchen to first of all to deliver some other workshops at a staff training day around health and wellbeing and healthy eating, but also we've had a couple of big staff team meetings where we've had catering supplied by Change Kitchen, and also I've been at other events where I'm involved, where we've also had Change Kitchen, and the catering's always been very good. Not necessarily, no. And I mean, I have to say that we hadn't previously sort of deliberately set out to commission caterers that had that ethos in relation to vegetarian and vegan food. And I think there would have been some staff who probably missed having meat. I have to say it's not a massively important factor when we're looking at buying in catering services. I mean, there have been some occasions when we've organised staff conferences and staff away days. I can think of several where we've gone to other venues across the city where they've asked us how many vegetarian or vegan meals or other special dietary requirements, and undertaken to supply that, and the feedback from colleagues with those dietary requirements has not been that positive. There was a Christmas event I can think of last year at a local hotel that was really very, very poor. I've tried it all. I love some of the little pastries. The spinach and phyllo one in particular is one of my favourites. And there's a cake as well that I quite like, but it's those little canapes that I find particularly nice. We are wholeheartedly in support of social enterprises. I sit on the executive board of the Digbeth Social Enterprise Quarter here in Digbeth, which was pioneered by the Initiative for Social Entrepreneurs by Sarah Crawley. We are developing several social enterprises ourselves. It's a crucial aspect of the way that our organisation has developed over the past few years, and we see this as integral now to the way in which we operate. We, as I said earlier, we want to offer more and more opportunities to our service users, and developing social enterprises is one way of doing that. I think they've got a long uphill struggle to do that, I think there's a bit of a debate about the definition of a social enterprise. I think there are some businesses and companies that say they're social enterprises, and I wouldn't necessarily agree with that definition. I think it's all too easy for a company to say they are because they donate a very small percentage of their profit to good causes. I think that's very different from companies like ChangeKitchen and BITA Pathways ourselves, the way in which we operate. I'm aware of the latest figures in relation to the number of social enterprises, the turnover, the number of staff they employ, and it's increasing all the time. And obviously, the more it does, the better it is. But and I think it can show the way forward to other businesses and companies. But I think at the moment it's got a long way to go. It's about giving people opportunities. It's about being willing and open to accept different ways of working, and to recognise that some people, whilst they have their challenges in relation to their health, also have skills that they can bring into a business or an operation that other people don't have. And there's the question of making sure that you utilise people's skills, and that you play to their strengths, and that you invest in developing their skills. So so it's a quid pro quo. So it's not entirely altruistic. You develop somebody's skills so they can help your business grow. But at the same time, that by investing in their development and their skills development, that they're going to get transferable skills, which if they leave you, they'll go on somewhere else, and that's just the way it is. That would be seen as a success. We have an environmental policy which features reducing environmental impact and food wastage, and obviously we have a commitment to doing what we can. Difficult to say, really. I am aware that the improvement in mental health that was reported by the participants in the health and wellbeing project, was clearly demonstrated, and certainly, if somebody is able to cook and eat healthily, I think that there's lots of documentary evidence that this will enhance mental well-being, if not mental health, and therefore it's obviously something to be encouraged. I think what makes Change Kitchen unique is probably Birgit herself, but seriously, it's the fact that they offer something different, and that's why we want to support them. It's different, and it's something that we enjoy working with Change Kitchen as a partner. I can still remember the workshop that she did at the staff day, when she introduced a member of staff to a vegetable they'd not encountered before, and it was asparagus, and it took a great deal of enticing for him to taste that asparagus, and that's still in my memory as something which was interesting.